I look like a douchebag. I look terrible in hats. I'm just contract incentives, clinching scenarios. The picks. Are we doing a top 5? Okay. I think we kind of like. I think came up with a weird top 10 the other day. Excuse me. Top like 5 or 10 favorite. Oh, so 5 predictions. Oh, you know what? I'll work with that. Top 5 things that will happen in 2024. Yes. I have a free. I was waiting for the list to start quarterbacks. Because there's a bunch of QBs that aren't playing this week. Alright, I got it. Yeah. I'm gonna send it to you. And I'm good. I mean, I'm as good as I'll ever be. Twitter. Or X. Oh, yeah. It still says Twitter on the main. One of us can just bring it up when we get to the picks.
Boom. Hey, we're live. I think this is it. And we have the background noise on my end, background noise on your end. But I think we're here. I have a new looking... Hi, everybody. Hello, YouTube world. How did my man say? Hello, Twitter world. This is me. The glove. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank now.
Oh, OJ.
Yes. Yeah. Like, hello, Twitter world. I wish he came out when it became X. And it's like, hello, X world.
X world.
Well, hello, Rob.
In my world, we kill our exes.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's,
listeners. Episode 137 of the PA Turn Pod. We're back, kicking off 2024, and we face our first demon of the year. First episode in, Rob texts me, hey, we can scratch it for next week. I said, no. We got to drop off on the very first week. 4 days in, we can't say no. We got to go and rock with it. So we are here with a special episode 137. It's going to be shorter this year. Well, that's what I hope the new year brings us. It's shorter episodes or shorter topics.
That's the goal.
Right? This is different as well because now I'm kicking off the show.
Yeah.
Something different. So it's
the roles are reversed. I'm gonna get the hot tag this time around.
Right. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. I'm okay. It's cold. We're expecting some snow this weekend, although the forecast I've been looking at says rain. But aside from that, I'm okay. Did the Tuesday 10 on Tuesday, came up with 10 topics on the toilet again, and I thought it was okay toward the end, and I got really tired. But aside from that, not a whole lot happened in the sports world. So I'm excited to see how we navigate this episode. How about you?
I'm doing well. Tuesday 10 was another good episode. I enjoyed it. Dude, they fly right by.
Yeah, it's a good
don't
feeling.
Think so, but they fly right by. We were texting this morning, and I'm like, I'm already on the rock segment. And by the time I finished my text, like, all right, folks, I'll see you next week. I was like, all right.
Yeah, that was my worst segment too. So, probably should have just skipped right through that one.
Well, we'll touch on it.
I didn't really know how to set it up. I figured I would leave it up for you. I believe tonight
Ironically, because you saw the segment live and I did not, but you couldn't get through it. We'll knock it out together.
That's right. I was supposed to explain to you before we even got on here what happened, and I didn't.
It's all good. We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
We have the chat going. We have the rundown. I have Rob right here. This is a lot of background. The duck. Broncos country. Are they still alive? Are the Raiders?
Oof.
So let's see. We're good, right? We're live? Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I sent the link. I sent the link to a handful of people. Hopefully people join. We're trying our best to grow this thing. I believe you made me a new logo for Tuesday 10. We're considering getting a new logo for this.
Yes.
The Turn Pod, or even changing the name just so it's a little bit more, I guess, interesting sounding. I came up with a crap name a couple years ago, and somehow we've run with it for 2.5 years now.
I had a flagrant something.
Yeah, you were technically flagrant. I think that might even be taken. I think there is a podcast or like a sub pod on a show on a network that is called that.
There's a Flagrant 2 podcast.
Is there?
Andrew
we'll come up with something, and I'm looking into getting us a logo made with like cartoon heads of us, kind of like you ever see. I mean, most podcasts do that now.
Right.
Maybe we'll do like some sort of a road sign with our cartoon heads in there somehow. But
hopefully,
until then, we'll roll with the with what we have until then. But very excited to I was
gonna say hopefully it's cartoon, not caricature. Because if it was a caricature,
with the big chin and everything,
big glasses, disheveled beard, and I'm probably like 2 feet tall compared to you. Wouldn't be good for me. Or in a big old belly. Wouldn't be good. Wouldn't be good. Um, all right, let's start off with the news and notes of the week. We have Dalvin Cook. $50 if you can guess where he was for the past 16 weeks. Because I completely forgot. It happened to be the Jets.
I thought he was in the same place as Steve Bartman, but turns out he's not in witness protection. He was actually in the MetLife locker room.
I mean, he could have
occupying the Antonio Brown role of exiting MetLife.
Did he not? Oh, Jesus. Well, he could have easily went to the other side and put on a Giants uniform. Nobody will notice because he wasn't seen all year, basically. I think
he was one of Rodgers' guys. Yeah, he was one of Rodgers' guys. He was really good last year too, I thought.
He was.
And he was he was on that quote unquote list that Rodgers may or may not have given the Jets, which also included like 4 former Packers that obviously were on a list with Cobb and Lazard and a couple other guys. Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver, you know.
Devontae Adams was the big fish, but he couldn't land that one.
It's a matter of time before he gets Bakhtiari and, Jair Alexander, Mike McCarthy.
Does he get AJ Hawk out of retirement?
Well, he doesn't do much as it is. The ESPN's paying him to sit there and say nothing while, Rodgers and Jimmy Kimmel fight.
Dude, did you see that? What nonsense.
So stupid. I almost caught myself saying a word I shouldn't. I guess they told McAfee to throw on a real shirt and give a half-assed apology because he went on with you couldn't see his arms today.
Really?
And he said, "Oh, I think Rodgers was just talking smack. Like that's not going to hold up in a court of law."
Especially when
supposedly, yeah.
ESPN is run by Disney, I believe, and I think Jimmy Kimmel's on ABC, which is basically ESPN and Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just basically messing up everyone's bread at that point. Yeah. Rodgers just doesn't give a fuck, though.
To be honest with you, I don't mind Rodgers. I think that he can be pompous and kind of like a look at me type of guy here and there.
Yeah.
And I have no disdain, I guess, toward McAfee, aside from the fact that so many people got laid off from ESPN when he was brought in. I think when he's not on his show, he's helpful. I thought he was good. I thought he's been really good on game day. And when he was doing commentary here and there, he did a couple bowl games. He even did a couple actual games a few years ago. I think outside of his show, he's fine. But his show, just to me, it's not for me. It's for college kids that have never touched a woman before, or a woman legally. And the Rodgers segments do nothing for me. I mean, he does nothing. He just goes on there and says dumb shit. And AJ Hawk's face is just the entire episode. And I'm like, I thought he was like a painting the first time I saw him. He doesn't do anything on the show.
It's a cigar, but I don't think he does it because they're on ESPN now. But before
he just sits in front of like a blank canvas behind him. If you want to watch like sports stuff, every podcast now has video, and I think the Chris Long stuff, the Green Light, is probably my favorite sports program right now at the moment.
Yeah,
between him and the Kelseys, there's plenty of content for me every week.
Too much overexposure for the Kelseys for me now. I'm just kind of over it. I'll see some.
Their podcast is very good though. They're definitely overexposed, but their shows are. I listened to their Christmas one where they had the Mama and Papa Kelsey, and then they had on
his wife,
Jason's wife. Yeah, that was very fun. Their episodes are pretty good to me.
Yeah, right. They're getting exposed, but also my disdain for picking Travis Kelce for a touchdown still burning me weekly, and then Jason Kelce responsible for the offense as well, going nowhere. I just don't.
Travis hasn't scored since he got the $10 billion from Pfizer.
He hasn't scored since the woman that shall not be named was shown all over the place for like a week.
You're talking about the blonde Satanist?
Yeah. Whenever she changed the lyrics for Karma is the guy on the Chiefs, he hasn't scored a touchdown. I probably would put money on that.
Yeah, Karma was taking all those boosts of him to score plus 120.
The donation.
He scored. I think he scored on National Tight Ends Day, and that's the last time he scored. So I remember he scored that day.
Ooh,
was it Dawson Knox? Maybe somebody else did. Cole Kmet. There was another tight end that scored, and then that night Goddard scored in the Dolphin game when they wore the Kelly Greens.
Unreal.
My theory worked out very well for that game. We can go back and find all my best takes.
Yeah.
I think my best one is anytime Mike Trout's at an Eagles game, the tight end scores. Yes. And naturally, Dallas Goedert scored a touchdown that night. I actually threw $5 on Calcaterra when he was at the when Trout was at the what was it? The maybe it had to be the Bills game, maybe.
He was
I
at the
forget
Bills
which
game,
game it was. That I think it was at the Bills game.
the rain
Yeah, I
game.
threw five
Yeah,
bucks on him. So you know what? There's going to be a tight end, or it might have, it was either Stoll or whatever tight end was starting when Goddard was out,
I think it was Stoll,
and I think he got close. He took the ball down to the 5.
and then of course you tush push it at that point. Um,
Jalen's 15 touchdowns this year on a combined 35 yards of rushing on those 15 touchdowns.
we can also touch on that too a little bit later on, the snub or not snub of
Uh,
being a reserve, but we'll get into that a little bit.
I think Josh Allen's got a better case than him.
Yeah, right. Especially turning their whole season around by just
Yeah,
offensive coordinator should get the MVP of the year.
Joe
He's
Brady. I'll tell you what. If you want to talk about system quarterbacks, I think the system is Joe Brady. The only place he hasn't succeeded is with the Panthers and Andy Dalton. He was the one that elevated Joe Burrow in LA. I mean, granted, he had so much talent there, but he was one of the guys responsible for elevating Joe Burrow at LSU. Before that, he was just a cast off from Ohio State, and then he had a crappy year his first year at LSU, and then Joe Brady kind of revolutionized the offense there.
True. I mean,
And look at him now with the Bills.
I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised if some teams go after him.
I think he's the next guy. Yeah, the way Kellen Moore is kind of, I guess, fizzled a little bit in LA. I think Dan Quinn is definitely an assistant that'll get looks this offseason at head coaching job. I don't think he wants one, though. I think he knows he's best suited to be a DC. I'm trying to think of who's the other guy. The guy from the Lions, Ben Johnson. He's a guy whose name has been said a million times. He might end up with the Charger job for all we know.
Well, I mean, Bill can get it too. Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
That's another
Yeah.
name out there.
Where do you
Josh
think he ends up?
McDaniels.
Yeah,
think
McDaniels
he-
belongs in hell next to what's his name? Brian Johnson.
Oh man, and Pencil Boy's right behind him.
Yeah, Pencil Boy belongs down there too. Somehow the defense has gotten worse under Pencil Boy.
You called it.
It loses to fucking Kyler Murray.
You said we put like 30 something on them, on the New England team. What the fuck
Ridiculous.
you think we're gonna do now? Yeah, honestly.
Put up 41 on Patricia's defense in the Super Bowl with
That's
Nick
what it
Foles
was.
at quarterback. Could you
That's what
imagine
it
if Wentz were still the quarterback then? They would have scored 100 that game.
I think Bill goes to the Chargers.
Think so?
Yeah.
I think Herbert's the guy for him. The problem is their defense stinks. I know they have a couple names there with Bofa and Khalil Mack is still there, but they're
Khalil
like
Mack's old
$50
now.
million over the. They're like 50 over the cap next year, so they're gonna have to figure out something out.
But they're in the
I don't know if Bill wants to go
mid-teens,
to.
right?
Yeah. What's up?
They're in the mid-teens for drafts, right? Like
They should be. I mean, they might end up. Yeah, they'll probably end up around like 15ish because they're gonna end up around 500. There's a lot of teams kind of hovering around 500 this year, though.
they need a
Yeah.
wideout, man. They need wideout.
I mean, Keenan Allen's had a rejuvenation since
how
last
old
year.
is he, yo?
Well, I mean, I think anybody can thrive with Herbert. Quentin, here's a fun stat for you. The last 8 weeks of fantasy football, you know Quentin Johnston of the Chargers, the much maligned receiver they took,
Right.
more fantasy points than Stephon Diggs. Diggs has
Stop
been the
the
wide
cat.
receiver 53 the last
Stop
8
the
weeks.
Cat. Stop the cat. Stop the cat. There's no shot.
Yep.
There's no shot.
No, I'm
That rookie has more fantasy points than Stephon Diggs.
last 8 weeks, yeah.
Holy mackerel. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. To get back on track on the first point of the episode, Dalvin
Stephon
Cook.
Diggs also has more tackles than Von Miller this year. So here you go. Here's the stat.
Yeah, I like how
Stephon
you
Diggs
said
was
that.
in weeks 1 through 9, which means he also has the same number of tackles as DeMar Hamlin. Stephon Diggs was the
Joe Flacco
third
does.
ranked third ranked wide receiver in points per game in weeks 1 through 9 in fantasy football.
Yeah.
He's been wide receiver 53 from weeks 10 through 17.
God. I mean, Joe Brady also. I mean, that offense took
it's
off once they got Cook.
Difference.
The other Cook, not
Well, I
Dalvin
mean,
Cook.
yeah. James has been great for them,
Tremendous.
and I mean
Helped that
the young tight end has been great for them too. Kincaid.
Kincaid, yeah. I thought they were going to
He's been
fall off
very
a
good.
little bit since they let go of Dawson Knox, but Kincaid.
Well, he's
stepped
still
right
there.
to
He's just
play.
not playing anymore.
No. Dawson Knox is a Texan, baby.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Dalton Schultz?
Oh wait, no. Dalton Schultz is a former
He's a Texan.
Cowboy. Then
Yeah, but he's I'm
Dawson Knox. Oh yeah, you're right. Let me see
we're
this.
efforting here. Yeah, Knox is still there. He's just Tight end too. He's only got 164 yards
He's
this
just
year. He
trash.
looks like he's only played 11 games. Only got 20 catches though.
He's trash. He's
He wasn't
absolutely
exactly
trash.
great to begin with, but that team could use a wideout too. But yeah, Bill Belichick, fun.
Um,
God forbid we get back to what were we talking about?
on the first bulletin of the of the rundown, Dalvin Cook
We're doing great.
is signed with the Baltimore Ravens.
It's gonna be a short one, folks.
Right. We spent like the last 15 minutes trying to get to the first point of the podcast.
Yeah, I like the pickup though. I don't know if they really needed him. I think he needs them more than they need him.
No,
But
they
they've
need
lost a
him.
couple. They've
another
lost a couple
weapon.
guys the last few weeks. They
It's
need
another
him.
weapon.
They're going to need him for cold weather. He's got no mileage on those legs this year. But I wonder where he ends up next year too. I think this is his Odell Beckham run where he gets a ring with the team.
Oh yeah, for sure. And this will go into our our next subtopic. I would probably take the over on Dalvin Cook's yardage because I'm sure he's going to get some mileage and give Gus Edwards some time, especially with Baltimore having the first round bye anyway. Give him 2 weeks to recover as a running back. Contract incentives, I'm sure Dalvin Cook has something in there. Now, granted, he'll need like a lot in one game, but a touchdown here or two, some fantasy points as well. What do we got here, Rob? Take us away with the contract incentives.
So there's this is my favorite thing to wager on every year. I've only been wagering for a few years, but contract incentives, these are the ones that are the closest ones to hitting in a lot of these guys' deals. There's another one on here. I forget who it is. Somebody's playing for $1 million. I think it's Baker Mayfield needs another win for $1 million or something like that to his contract. I'll double check that in a moment for you. But Odell Beckham Jr. So all these guys have incentives built into their contracts. It'll be get 100 catches and you get X number of dollars, or 15 catches or 20 or 5 touchdowns and you get this. Odell Beckham needs 5 more catches this year for a $250,000 bonus. Nelson Aguilar needs 58 receiving yards for $250,000. By the way, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a mic'd up thing a few years ago when Gronk was a Buccaneer, and I think he said, "Oh, I need one more catch for 500 grand or something like that." And Brady's like, "I got you." They went right back out there, ran a quick pattern, and got Gronk the ball, and then they went to the sideline. He was like, "Hey man, thanks, bro," and then he retired. Dalton Schultz needs 4 catches for 250 grand. He needs 6 catches for 500 grand. Devin Singletary needs 73 scrimmage yards for 250,000. DeAndre Hopkins needs 49 receiving yards for $1 million. Austin Eckler 110 total yards for 100K, and Adam Troutman needs a touchdown for 100K. There's also I believe Calvin Ridley only needs like 80 yards or something for a bonus, and Baker Mayfield's playing for a ton of money this week. So
I have it right here.
A lot of fun stuff.
Mayfield had playing time incentives that topped out at $1 million if he played 85% of the snaps. He's at 99.7 through 17 weeks.
So he probably doesn't need to play.
That incentive doubles if the Buccaneers make the playoffs, meaning a Buccaneers win will be worth $1 million for Mayfield. So,
It's like the XFL, the $1 million game.
right.
Good for Baker, man. If it weren't for Flacco and the dead guy, I think he would be comeback player of the year. He's been awesome this year. I mean, he was good the end of last year with the Rams, but I mean, they're definitely going to probably give the award to the Undertaker in Buffalo. But I think that Baker's got a good case for it. I think that where he wound up is a great spot, and I want to thank everybody for remembering my beginning of the season pod where I said Tampa was going to make the playoffs.
You were spot on, sir.
Thank you. The one thing I was right about.
That and your Super Bowl prediction, which is still in play.
I've been right about a few things. The other thing I've been very right about is the 2-star theory in the NBA, which I'm probably going to have to take to my grave. At least in this era. Depends when I die, but
I convinced a couple of coworkers, like, look, we don't need a 3rd star. Don't give me no guy from Chicago. Don't give me nobody from, who is it, the Jazz, Laurie Markkinen, and give up everything that we got.
Yeah, I'm not giving up a ton for him. I would rather sign him in free agency. I saw one of those tweets. Those tired, wired tweets? It was like tired, Sixers trading for Zach LaVine. Yes. Wired, Sixers trading for LeBron James.
I'm like, all right.
Apparently he's going to get another coach fired. The Shams thing hit this morning. The Lakers are under 500, so LeBron's got to get another coach fired.
Did you see what's his name? DeMar Ham? Whatever. Not
Darvin Ham. No, not the zombie. Yeah.
Did you see his?
I think Darvin might actually be the clone.
Right. Did you see his explanation for the loss against the Heat?
I don't watch ESPN, so I don't get any news on the Lakers.
Well, it was on TikTok. I thought maybe your
Was it
algorithm
not?
will send
I
you
didn't.
mine.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it.
All right. So AD talked first, right? Like, oh, it's
Mhm.
unacceptable. It's no excuse for injuries. We just got to play better. The usual.
Yeah, a
Austin
good
Reeves,
leadership type of thing.
that was in the locker room. Reeves is at the press conference saying, "Yeah, uh, that's no excuse. We just got to play better. XYZ." DeMar Ham or Harb, yeah, we just got to get healthy. That's the main thing. If we can get healthy, we'll be right.
Well, the
It's
main
like,
thing's the main thing.
he's like, and because it's hard having guys plug in and out, and no one has cohesiveness. But once we
Yeah,
get right, we get healthy, we'll be back on track because we haven't played as a unit all year. I'm like, oh my god, what a bozo! I'm surprised. Oh, LeBron, get him out of there. Do what you got to do, man. Death, taxes, and LeBron firing a coach midseason.
it's
They're all
crazy. He's gotten
fixes.
more coaches fired than the Epstein list. Um, yeah, we have a handful of clinching scenarios this week as well.
Did we put Stephen
Um,
Hawkins on the cover?
oh
That's
God.
fucked. I can't
Yeah, I
believe
saw a
he's.
tweet. I saw a tweet. I sent you a tweet earlier that I'm not going to read on the air. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, though. The one that was funny was the Kevin Nash one where he's in the wheelchair and he takes he's in the fake cast. He stands up out of the wheelchair. It says Stephen Hawking when he gets to the island. I just think it's hilarious that the Epstein Island is ADA compliant.
What, right? Dude, Twitter, the internet just had a field day once Stephen Hawkings was revealed. No
Yeah.
one gave the shit about Clinton, Trump, whoever was on the list.
Well, that's because they were givens. That's like saying there's a fork in a cafeteria.
That was like a
Of course,
it's a minus 10,000. It's like, all right, I'm not throwing money on that.
you
Hawkins,
just want to see the. That's like just saying I want to see the ball go through the hoop. You throw $5 on like Warriors money line against like a middle school.
right. Dude, the memes, like, what's he doing down there?
Yeah,
Multiple times.
the
It wasn't a
88
one trip.
the ADA compliance thing was somebody said no one's calling Epstein a good man, but he's a heck of a host.
Oh shit.
All right, so we do have a couple clinching scenarios. I won't jump through them all, but so the Ravens have clinched the #1 seed.
Right.
I would imagine they'll use a couple of these guys that have the incentives in their contract and try to get them their money this week. I can't imagine Lamar's going to play though, unless he has any type of playing time incentives in his deal. So we'll probably see Tyler Huntley.
I mean, he just signed that big contract to come back, so he might have something.
Yeah,
He might.
I would imagine so. The Dolphins, they're currently 11-5. They're playing the Bills potentially for a playoff berth. So the Dolphins have clinched a playoff spot. The Bills have
Division.
not. Yeah, they're fighting for the division. That's the final game of the weekend, which is I like that when they always, when they put out the schedule initially at the beginning of the year. So the final 2 weeks are usually TBD. Week 17 is when they flex a couple games to the Saturday, and then they have a couple. They figure out the prime time on the fly.
Right.
This is the week where they decide on the fly what they're going to do in the 8 o'clock time slot on Sunday, which is usually whatever game has the most impact on the playoffs. And this is the only one all week that is head to head for a division, so that's exciting. So they would clinch the AFC East with a win or tie against the Bills. So the Bills have to win in order to win the division. Otherwise, the Dolphins end up, I think, is like weekend. I believe the backup. The hell's his backup? I got a list of the backups
Walker?
right here.
PJ Walker?
Is it PJ Walker?
I don't know. They had so many quarterbacks this year.
I would imagine it. I don't think Flacco's. Well, I mean, maybe he will play just because they're gonna maybe want to have his feet wet before the playoffs.
Also, he can secure the comeback player of the year. I mean, I guess he's not, but
I mean, they would have to kill Hamlin again in order to get him the comeback player of the year.
he was so close.
I mean, the thing is, so if Flacco comes out and has a stinker, maybe he loses the ability to win the award. But he's not even the favorite right now.
Dorian Thompson Robinson.
Oh, DTR, that's right. They've started 4 quarterbacks this year, and they've won a game with each of them. He has more passing yards, by the way. He meaning pronouns, pal. Flacco has more passing yards than Deshaun Watson this year.
Sorry, I'm looking a name. Oh, Pierre Strong Jr.
What?
Running back, 3rd string. What a solid name. Pierre
There's a good
Strong
name.
Jr. Running back.
That's up there with my favorite
Tank?
football name right now, Tank Daly, or not Tank Daly. Yeah, Tank Bigsby.
No, Tank Bigsby. Yeah,
Tank Bigsby on the Jags. That's one of my favorite names in football. That's like the Brickashaw Ferguson good. The Chiefs have clinched the AFC West. They can move up or down. I don't think they're using Mahomes this weekend though. I forget who his backup is, but he's not playing this week. At least from what I understand. Maybe that's changed.
Right.
So they have clinched the West. They're 2 games up on Denver, which is the next closest team. Blaine Gabbert is starting in his place this week. That has been confirmed, by the way, by Schefter. So I guess they can't move up or down. Then you got the Bills. The Bills have a pretty complicated one here. They would clinch a playoff berth with any of the following things happening. The Steelers would have to lose or tie. The Jags would have to lose or tie. And the Texans and Colts would have to tie. If all 3 of those things don't happen and there's a winner in Texans Colts, the Jags win, and the Steelers win, then the Bills, if they lose, they are out of the playoffs.
If the Bills tie with Miami, they also clinch that way as well.
I believe so.
That's what
they just so they can clinch with a win or a tie. If they lose, but the Steelers and Jags win and the Texans and Colts tie, then the Bills are golfing in January this year, which is crazy because they've had such a great second half of the season. If they would also win the division if they win the game, which is great. I think that's going to be a fun game.
Mistake me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Jesus, mistake me if I'm wrong. I'm so tired. Is this the same trajectory, opposite trajectory from the same game? When the Bills came to Philly, that was when, all right, we took a bad loss. We got to.
That's kind of when their ascension was, yeah.
And then the Eagles were winning. They beat. Then they went after San Fran, and then
was that the last one that they won before they kind of fell off? Yeah, because the Chiefs game was first.
Yeah, Chiefs game was first.
Yeah, it went down. It was Dolphins, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, right?
I believe so. Now I have to look at this. Jesus. But my point is,
nonetheless,
the trajectory, they were on death's door, the Bills, and then they surged to the top. Eagles were riding high, and then they're just floundering, and we'll be surprised if they can beat Tampa.
Yeah, the Bills fire their OC.
Division. Right. Crazy.
Bills fire the offensive coordinator. So Houston can clinch a playoff berth with a win, or they would need a tie, a Jags loss, and a Steelers loss or tie. So basically, the Texans win and they're in. They're playing the Colts this week. And then we also have the Colts would win if they win, or the Colts would clinch if they win. They need a Steelers loss or tie if the Colts don't. If the Colts tie, if the Colts lose, they're out. Winner of that game is in the playoffs. If Houston wins and the Jags lose or tie, then Houston wins the division, which is a fun thing to root for. Indianapolis also has the same thing. If the Jags lose or tie, and the Colts win, then the Colts win the division. The Jags can clinch a playoff berth with either a tie, obviously a win, a tie, or a Steelers loss. The Steelers loss plus a Denver Broncos loss, and then Texans and Colts doesn't end in a tie, which is a fun scenario. Jags would win the division with a win this week.
Dude,
as convoluted as that all is, basically just win your games and you're fine. That's what most of these scenarios are. The Steelers need a lot of help. Yeah, Steelers need a lot of help here.
They have a winning record. I mean. So got that out of the way.
Any of these scenarios will get them into the playoffs. They need to win, and they need a Bills loss. They need a win and a Jags loss or tie. They need a win and then a tie in the Texans and Colts game. The Steelers can tie, the Jags lose, and then the Texans and Colts, one of those teams wins. Jaguars loss plus the Broncos win plus the Texans Colts non-tie. So basically, Steelers win and they're in, but they need a Bills loss, a Jags loss, or a Texans Colts tie. But they did clinch the over 500 championship, so we're going to throw another parade for Tomlin.
And remember, we have week 18 starting quarterbacks. What was it, 10, 12?
At least there might be more. Yeah.
Mason Rudolph, is he a Steeler?
Rudolph.
He's
he is
starting. I mean, the best name on this list right now is Sam Howell. But the most intriguing name on this list is Carson Wentz. Oof. I know, I probably butchered it already, but let's just...
Very excited about that.
I'm very, very curious to see how this turns out.
So the Niners, I don't think, are even playing their guys this week. Darnold is starting for them, right?
He's not on the list here.
I think he is. If Purdy's playing, it's not for long. Half of their stars have been half of their guys have been listed as like questionable and did not participate. I think Ayuk didn't participate in practice today. Someone else did. I can't imagine McCaffrey's playing. Let's move on to the NFC. So the Niners are in. They've clinched the number 1 seed. The Lions have clinched the NFC North. They've clinched the NFC North. If they win, they get the 2 seed. if the Cowboys win and the Lions lose, Cowboys are the 2 seed. If the Cowboys lose and the Eagles win, the Eagles are the NFC's champion. Now, if the Cowboys win and the Eagles win, the Cowboys are the NFC's champion. The Eagles have clinched a berth. They need a win and a Cowboys loss or tie. And then the Rams have also clinched a playoff berth. They can't really move up or down as far as I know because I would imagine that's why Carson's playing.
Right.
The Falcons need to win and they need the Bucs loss. Buccaneers will be playing I believe the Panthers this week, right?
Yeah.
And the Falcons have the Saints, I believe.
In New Orleans.
Yeah. So Falcons win along with a Tampa loss will give the Falcons the title. If the Falcons lose, Tampa Bay wins the division with a win. The Packers need a little bit of help from their friends here. The Packers win and they're in. If they lose, if they tie, then they need a Seahawks loss or tie, a Saints loss or tie, or a Packers tie, Seahawks loss, and Buccaneers loss. Or they need to win. They need to tie. The Seahawks need to tie, and the Bucs need to lose. The Vikings also, if they lose, then the Packers help. A lot of weird stuff going on here. The Vikings can win, and they need a Packers loss, plus a Seahawks loss, plus a Buccaneers loss. Or Vikings win, Packers lose, and Seahawks lose, and Saints lose, and they're in. So, fun. And then the Saints can clinch a berth. They need a win, and then they need the Seahawks to lose and the Packers to lose.
The NFC South.
NFC South's a poop show. It's crazy that somebody in the NFC South is going to win the division with 9 or 10 wins, and the Eagles are going to go in there with 11 or 12, or the Cowboys with a better record have to play on the road.
And they're the only ones that you can't win and you're in. You have to win and then hope to God something else happens.
I believe the only team that can win and be in is Tampa, right?
No. Let me see. Well, Tampa. Right?
Tampa either needs to win, or they need to tie with a Saints loss, or they can tie and the Seahawks have to lose and they win the division. So Tampa is the only team down there that really controls their own destiny without any help from their friends. Tampa wins, then they're in. Well, Tampa wins, they get a berth and they get the division title.
What a wild.
And that, my friends, is the most convoluted thing in the world. Just Google playoff scenarios or just watch Red Zone, and I'm sure Scott Hansen will break it down for you.
Right. Perry was shocked. Is that all that it needs to happen for the Steelers to get in?
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, the Steelers need to win. They need 6 ties. They need Jupiter to explode. And they need one of Neptune's moons to just implode upon itself.
I mean, Perry is correct, though. The NFC South, this happens almost every year. Every year. Where, you don't know who's coming out of that division. But nothing like this, where
it's like the NFC East, but worse.
Yeah, in a way.
Weren't the Panthers like 5-11 one year? And they almost won, or 7-9, and they won a playoff game. I think that was the year they beat the Seahawks in Carolina. Seahawks went in there with 12 wins.
Cam Newton?
I think it might have been 17. I don't remember though.
I remember famously where the Seahawks went into. No, it wasn't the Seahawks.
They came into Philly when the Eagles were 9-7. The Seahawks had 12 wins. And they beat the Eagles when Beast. Oh, that was right. Yeah, that's right. They beat the Saints in, I think it was 08.
Yeah, they beat the Saints
somewhere around then. 2010 maybe. They were 6-10 or 7-9. And they beat the Saints. The Beastquake game.
Beat the brakes. Beastquakers for sure in Seattle too, of course, because they had the home game. And boy, oh boy, it was much needed because that place was rocking.
That was either 10 or 11 because that was before the Nike thing when they changed uniforms.
Right.
They still had those ugly ass uniforms. Yeah, that was either 9 or 10.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. But yeah, man, there's a lot of things going on.
A lot of fun stuff this week.
Just a clinch. And before we get into the picks, like you said, we have the Schefter tweet.
Yeah, handicapping these games had to be impossible for the odds makers.
Right. Tyrod Taylor gets the start, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tommy DeVito gets a knock in there.
They're going back to Tyrod for some reason. Why not just, again, I don't understand it. Perry's a Giants fan. Maybe he can make it make sense. I know DeVito's probably not the answer there, but you already know what you have in Tyrod. You don't really know what you have in DeVito. If the idea is, Jones is our guy for the next at least a year because he'll have dead cap if they cut him.
Right.
Wouldn't you want the better guy wouldn't you want to figure out who his backup should be next year because he's likely going to get hurt again? Or he'll be injury prone because he's coming off of the bad injury?
Correct.
Like, wouldn't you want to figure out what you have in DeVito, or is this just about protecting him and making sure he doesn't get hurt?
Hurt, but also you got to get out there. His confidence is shot right now. His confidence, his
Yeah,
moxie, all that star power, the veto, everything gone the moment he got benched. It's like he's yesterday's news or like last year's news at this point, literally. Um, yeah, you already know what you have in Tyrod. Let's
yeah,
see what you can get out of DeVito. For God's sakes, the draft is coming. Someone's bound to need a quarterback or a backup. You
yeah. At
ship
least showcase the
DeVito.
kid. And as sad as it is for us to say, that's a very winnable game for the Giants on Sunday when they play the Eagles. So I know the Eagles have won, I think, 3 out of the last 4 at MetLife, but that's a reeling Eagles team, which might go in there with their pride kind of cut in half. Granted, they will be playing at the same time as the Dallas Washington game, so it's not like the Eagles or Dallas can see what happens in their opponent's game, come out and go, okay, you know what, I don't need to start my starters because we can't move up or down, or vice versa,
Right.
or hey, we need to play these guys because the other team won. They're happening at the same time, so the Eagles will be playing their starters as far as I know, but that's a very winnable game for the Giants right now.
And the beauty of that, not only are they starting at the same time, they're both on the road. So it's not
Yep.
like the home operator can kind of like showcase the other team's score in real time for the audience to like react and the players can kind of like look up. No, this
Yep.
is both on the road. You got to take care of business on the road.
I'm sure it'll be rotating on the thing, but I would imagine both coaching staffs are going to say, "Hey, don't even worry about it. Just take care of your business today. Let the chips fall."
Nah. Doug
By the way,
Peterson kind of ruined that. If I were the the Giants and Washington, hell no. You
I'm
gonna
picking the
have to
team
beat
I hate
us.
more.
I'm beating the brakes off both of you.
Well, I mean the Eagles and Cowboys are going to go into that game saying, "Hey, I don't care what happens in the other game. Let's make sure we win because
Right,
at
right,
least we
right.
will take care of our." Now, did you see before we jump into the picks? Did you see the TV that the 49ers were watching to see if
No.
the Eagles would lose to the Cards? So
I
the,
saw
the
the
Niners had already
reactions.
they'd already defeated I believe Washington that day, and then their reaction to the Eagles losing because then that gifted them the number 1 seed and basically
Yeah.
an extra bye. So they're basically taking 2 weeks off. Did you see this freaking TV?
No.
Let me see. I'll send you it. I can't share my screen, but it's pathetic. It's this tiny little
Can't?
TV, and
I think you can. No?
look at this thing. Little plasma screen TV on the top of
Oh
the
my god. And these guys are like little like school children just sitting down all nice around the
They've
TV.
probably
No, I'm
never touched it. Do you
standing.
ever touch the? You can feel the electricity coming off the TV screen where you touch it, you get shocked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those ones.
Oh, hold up. Well, Perry. Well, here's a question from Perry. Not even a question. It's a
Sure.
statement. He believes that the Giants want to win that game,
Hmm.
Week 18. So
Of
Tyrod
course.
gives them the best chance to win. So that's why Tyrod's the best choice to start. True, they want to win, but
They definitely want to play spoiler. That's for sure. That's a winnable game too, in my opinion. Like
it
it's
was
not like they're
winnable
going
last
in.
week.
I know they're
Easy up.
technically the worst team, but the Eagles are not playing very well right now. But I agree with him. I figure that's kind of the case because otherwise, if their goal is to win the game, it's Tyrod. But if their goal would be to figure out what's going on and figure out what they're going to do next year, Tyrod is not somebody you want to keep in the future plans. I would imagine
Solid
because
point.
they're going to be in a position to either draft another quarterback or at least draft a backup. This is as much as I'm kind of down on this draft class outside of Penix. There are quarterbacks to be had in this draft. And you're only committed to Jones, I think, for 1 more year of guaranteed money. And if you want to get out from beneath that contract, he's easily cuttable at the end of next year.
And what are you gonna do with Saquon too?
Oof. Yeah.
I think Sterling.
I would
Shepard's
imagine
gone, too.
I would imagine they're gonna shell out money to him.
Does he want to stay?
Who
Do you want to
knows?
go to a
He is that team right now.
He
Kind of
was
feel bad
that
for him.
team.
I have no love lost for Penn State, but I kind of feel bad for him. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he's all right. He's all right.
Tore his knee a couple years ago. He's a lot of mileage on him from Penn State and from the Giants, but I think he can still help like a good team.
Also, it's a pride thing for the Giants because
Yeah, that makes sense.
not only do they want to play spoiler, but they haven't beaten the Eagles in forever. It feels like these
2
days.
years. Yeah, they beat him not last year, but the previous one.
And that's a
That
rivalry
so
in itself. So
the game where Jalen threw the interception when whoever it was stopped running the route. It was Rager. I think Rager stopped running his route, and Hurts threw that interception at the end of that game at MetLife 2 years ago. That
Rager was
after
on the
that is
team?
when the was that
he was on the team.
2 years ago? I think it was not last year. It was a game. He Hurts threw an interception. It was a catchable pass in the end. Somebody dropped a touchdown in that game. I think it might have been Rager. It's either him or Aguilar. Somebody dropped a touchdown in the end zone against the or near the end zone against the Giants, and then Hurts threw that bad interception. But I think it was either Rager or somebody stopped running the route, and they came down with it. I think they beat the Eagles like 21-15 or something like that. And that's where you get the I guess not infamous, but the shot of Hurts bent over where Mailata comes over and puts his arm around him on the field.
Yes.
And then like since that moment is when Hurts was like 27-3 in his last 30 starts or whatever. And then obviously that kind of went sideways recently.
I want to see Jalen smile. Like, he had so much moxie and swag and charisma last year, and then after that Super Bowl loss, he just went hard left. Goth.
If there's anybody who, in my opinion, I'm biased because I'm an Eagles fan. I really liked him in college. I hated him initially, but if there's anybody who's handled a lot of bullshit and been such a fucking pro about it his entire last like 4 years, he got a raw. Well, he kind of gifted himself a raw deal at Bama when he stunk in the first half of that Georgia game and he got benched. But then he came in and saved them the next year when Tua got hurt against Georgia, won the SEC title game, and then I think they went to the playoff and I think they lost. That was the year they lost to who did they lose to that year? That would have been what, 19? That would have been 18. They That might have been Clemson they lost to. I forget who they lost to the next year. And then the year after that, he transfers to Oklahoma and he gets absolutely destroyed in the semifinal by Joe Burrow and LSU. Goes to the NFL, kind of written off. Goes to a team that
didn't need
a lot of the fans didn't even want him, and he sucked his first year as a starter, and then he took off and then lost in the Super Bowl last year, kind of because of his own doing with the fumble. If there's anybody that kind of deserves a happy ending to the story, it's him. And I'm always going to root for him, even if he's not here. But I think that he's dealt with so much bullshit that it's kind of hard to smile. Granted, he's getting paid plenty of money. I'd be smiling too if I got that much money. But
right, but like the same quotes, the same isms that he does.
Yeah, I think it's a leadership thing.
Sure, but at some point you got to show something, even if it's like out of character for you this season.
Yeah, well,
show something for the locker room. Not for us, obviously. It's going to look crazy for us when you act differently, but it's really to send a message to the locker room. Like, look, let's get it together. Because Sirianni and A.J. Brown at press conferences talking basically the opposite of what they're talking about. It's blasphemous. I don't need to hear none of them talk.
Yeah. I'm grateful that A.J. called out Marcus Hayes today, though. Or yesterday, I think it was.
Did he now?
Yeah, he did. He said, well, it's nice to see Marcus Hayes ain't here. I do think that this is a conversation for a different day.
Right.
And maybe I'm not the most qualified person to speak on it, but Jalen Hurts knows how the Philadelphia... Well, I can speak on the first part, not the second part. He knows how the Philadelphia media portrays people.
Right.
A.J. Brown is a leader by all accounts. Jordan Mailata came out and said, hey, look, no, he took us to an escape room. We did like team bonding stuff, and it was A.J.'s idea. Devontae Smith loves him. Jalen Hurts loves him. Coaching staff likes him. He sees what happens to these athletes in Philly when they get buried. I mean, even Embiid gets crushed all the time. He's the leading scorer in the NBA. Right. And he also sees the portrayal in the media of black quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson's on the way to win another MVP. This is not something I'm obviously qualified to speak on, although I can pick on ESPN the way they talk about these guys. Even minority quarterbacks in general. Tua doesn't get any credit. Lamar Jackson gets no credit. No team wanted him in the offseason. He's about to win another MVP, possibly a Super Bowl. I think if Jalen didn't act, I think he's making a concerted effort to, hey, I'm going to be clean cut. I'm going to handle my business the way, going to what they want me to. And if you want to pick on my play, that's one thing, but you're not going to pick on my character. And also, I think, honestly, if you watch his highlights at Bama, and even some of them in Oklahoma, before and after the Tua thing, his demeanor very much changed. He became a professional after the Tua thing, and I think started going about his business as if he were, I'm laser focused. Before Tua, you can see him dancing in the end zone, doing all the nonsense. He still does his little touchdown dances here and there.
Last year?
He did last year, but I think that when he comes to the fork in the road, he takes the high road as opposed to being the flamboyant guy. Because I think he's well aware, and this is also credit to anybody around him. He obviously surrounds himself with better people than Ben Simmons did. He's well aware, and the people around him are well aware that if he acts any particular way, and this is not just like a race thing, if he just acts like a Manziel or a Baker Mayfield, he's going to get crushed. And he can't do that in a big market. He can't do it in LA, can't do it in New York, can't do it in Philly, can't do it in Boston. And I think he knows that. And he is also, as the guy who's getting paid $1 billion by the franchise, he knows he's the face of the team. And if he goes out there and acts like an asshole, that reflects poorly on the rest of the group, and he has to
Right.
set the example, especially when his other captains are on fucking podcasts saying shit about the team or going on the radio all the time, or AJ Brown, however you want to talk about him.
Darius
When
Slay
there's all that
tweeting.
nonsense with everybody else, yeah, I think he feels a responsibility to the organization, not so much the city. I think it's kind of overblown, but he feels a responsibility to the organization to be. If they're gonna put my face on billboards and my face will be the logo when I retire,
Right.
I think I should act this way, and I think that's why we don't see the. I think that's why we've seen like a little bit of a character shift from him. Although I think it all started in that national title game against Georgia.
I think it cemented it after the Super Bowl loss. Cause man, it's just different play, man. I like
Yeah.
him. Little show some kind of life, but yeah, I see your point there. Not mad at it at all. All right,
What
man.
the fuck?
Oh,
This is killing me. I gotta find out who the hell was in the national championship in 2019.
I was gonna put a bet on the Sixers. Dude, Joel Embiid returns gives me a triple double. And I
Oh,
was
that's when
asleep.
Clemson absolutely obliterated Bama.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, that's when. Oh, yeah, that's when they got beat 44-19, 44-16.
And Perry said, "Yeah, Perry, Saquon Barkley is no Tiki Barber. 1,000% on that.
Yeah, he's not a
Check.
shitty radio host.
And he's not bald either. All right,
Tua had 295 passing yards a game. Yeah, that's the year Arch saved Tua's ass, and then Tua fucking laid an egg in the playoff.
it is what?
I think that's when they crushed Washington. That might have been the year they beat Jake Browning in the semifinal. Actually,
Jake Browning, man, what a fall from grace.
it was either them or they beat Michigan State. I forget. I know they beat Michigan State and Washington. Maybe Clemson beat Washington. Nonetheless, let's move on to the picks.
Yes.
Talk to me.
2 Saturday games. Everything else is Sundays, and then obviously Sunday night football. No Monday night this week. No Thursday as well. Oh, did we? Have
Monday night
Thursday?
is actually the no Thursday,
right.
but the Monday game this week is the national title game, which I'm very, very excited about.
Ooh. Washington versus Michigan.
Michigan. Yep.
Two
Big Blue is
14-0.
minus 5.5 right now.
Real quick, let's talk about it.
Sure.
I think I said this multiple times, but now that we're live, and maybe Perry, if he's still watching, because Perry's also a college football guy.
Yeah, he follows.
Did you chuckle? Did you smile? Did you wink? Did you like the homage that Nick Saban did for Nick
The
Sirianni
Brian Johnson.
and the Brian Johnson offense on 4th and goal at the
So
6, 7?
that was from the 3, I think. That was my knee jerk
like
reaction,
Jesus.
and Brian Johnson was trending on Twitter. Anybody listen to the Tuesday 10? When I watched this playback, it looked like an RPO, and I think honestly what happened was Milrow, because the snap was bad. So the guy that was going in motion was that running back,
Right.
and I think the running back was the first read on the RPO, and the second read is a run. If that snap is not as bad as it was where it was at his ankles, obviously when you get a normal snap, your head doesn't move too much. You're able to read the defense and either make a quick decision to throw the ball or boom right up the middle. When that ball almost hit his feet, I think a little bit of panic set in, and he never even looked at his read, and he just said, "All right, it's time to go make a play," and he just tucked it and ran right into his guard. So, as fun as it is to pick on Brian Johnson, and I totally agree, it was a kind of a shitty play call for that scenario. I would rather roll him out or go four wide with your running back in the backfield to chip, and either he finds a guy in the corner of the end zone or uses his legs and makes a play. I don't really like the play call there. That was very much a Brian Johnson call because it could have been a bubble screen to the bottom or a QB draw, basically.
Jesus, please don't remind me of that. Fucking
That
Devontae
sucked.
Smith got hurt on a bubble screen for Gainwell.
Yeah, that's what AJ said he was. That's what AJ said he was pissed about. That Devontae got rolled up on.
But for
Better
Gainwell,
than a screen to. Better than another screen to friggin' Julio.
Oh God, please.
They're throwing screen passes to a casket.
Who caught 2 touchdowns? Though?
That's the most he's moved in years. Jesus Christ.
I guess he was playing for an incentive. Just give me a touchdown or 2.
5 catches on the year? He's got 3 now, right? Yeah. Did he score in the
He scored in his first couple.
Scored in the first Cowboys game, maybe, or was it the Washington game?
I don't know.
It might have been it wasn't the Bills game because they bet him that day.
All right, before we get into the picks and to wrap up the Bama Michigan game, what was a worse play call in a must touchdown scenario, must score scenario?
The
that
Washington game, by the way.
What was that?
It was the Washington game.
That was Washington.
Yeah, it was the
well,
one
there
on
it
the
was.
road. It's the second game, yeah.
What was a more flagrant call? That Bama call at the 3,
Yeah.
or the Seahawks versus the Patriots down at the 2 when you had beast mode there? What was more flagrant?
So the thing about the Seahawks calls, I understand it. I think it was a stupid call. I understand it though because if they throw the ball there, they still have the run in their back pocket. If they run the ball, then they're going to run out of timeouts.
At
But
the
yeah, it was a
1
stupid
though.
call. Yeah, that's the dumbest call of all time. I understand it, but it's dumb. Almost said it again.
All right, let's get back on track. Week 18
Yes.
picks.
By
Saturday,
the way,
4:30.
Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers not it. Now next year they're going to realize that Arch Manning also stinks, but Quinn Ewers not it.
Archie Manning's not it
Sam
either.
Ellinger wins that game if he's still in college. But shout out Washington. I love Michael Penix, and I've sent you a couple of the clips. I think he's the best quarterback in the draft.
Is that the North Carolina guy?
No, that's Drake. Drake May is the clown on wheels. Michael Penix is the Washington quarterback. I love him. He's the most dynamic quarterback I've seen in a while.
Is he going number 2 in
I don't think so. He's
Quarterback.
kind of damaged goods because he's had a couple injuries, and he's transferred around. He's probably older than Caleb. I think it'll be Caleb May and then Jaden Daniels, and then maybe Penix goes in the mid first. So this is like a kind of a top heavy quarterback draft, although I don't really love much of them. I think Caleb is still number 1. I think Drake May will be number 2,
You think one of
or
these
if not
guys-
number 2, at least the second quarterback. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Do you think one of these the bottom 2 quarterbacks will they fall, and you can get it like a nice quality backup second round at least?
I think Penix could go mid to late first or early second, depending on what teams need. I think there's not enough quarterbacks for each team in the league right now, though. I talked about that earlier on one of the Tuesday 10s. I think I said that if the NFL really wants to expand, they need to figure out the quarterback problem.
Yeah, we talked about it when we were talking about.
Yeah, maybe it was us that talked about it. Yeah, there's not even enough quarterbacks for 32 teams. How are you going to do for 34?
Right.
I think Penix could be a guy you can hitch the wagon to. You just need to have a really good plan B on your roster.
Right.
But there's no throw he can't make, and I'm tired of people comparing him to Tua because they're left-handed.
What was
He's
that?
not
Perry?
Tua. He's got a way stronger arm.
Hey Perry, can you clarify on that? And when you do, I'll read it on the podcast. He's saying he's possibly going to the Giants. I'm not sure who's he talking about. Maybe one of the quarterbacks, Caleb Williams.
Well,
Not Caleb.
if they win, then they're not getting a quarterback this year.
Maybe Drake May to the Giants.
I think May would make sense on the Giants because then I hope for Perry's sake the Giants don't end up with Caleb because I don't think he's a franchise quarterback.
I think we talked about. I think he reminds me of like a Bryce Young. Like
He reminds me. Yeah, you said that.
I don't know.
He reminds me of Zach Wilson, and I'm not saying that to be
That's what
somebody
you
that. I'm not saying that just to have a different opinion from the rest. And I was kind of high on him going into the season.
Yeah.
But every highlight of him is kind of being a little bit mobile, and then there's a guy wide open down the field, and of course he's going to hit the wide open receiver. He's not making throws and throwing guys open the way Penix does. And maybe that's just the Washington offense compared to the USC offense, but I've always been told Lincoln Riley's an offensive genius. And Caleb was a really shitty teammate this year too, which is something that a lot of teams can't, discount. I mean, Carson Wentz was a guy that was a horrible teammate. He had all the arm talent in the world.
Right.
Didn't work out for him in the pros.
He's talking about Michael Penix.
Oh man, that would break my heart.
Michael Penix.
I
to the
love
Giants,
Michael Penix, dude.
but he loves Caleb. He loves Caleb.
Oh really? I mean, there's a lot to like about him, talent-wise. I just wonder
He's a UFC
between
fan.
the ears.
Come on now.
I was he's
He's a
UFC fan.
USC, my bad, not UFC.
Oh, USC.
His brother is a UFC fan.
Oh,
We
okay.
can't redact
Well,
it. Can't say.
Oh, that's right. I'm a huge fan of Michael Penix, though. I would be if the Eagles didn't have a quarterback, I would be all about trading whatever they can to move up and grab him. I think he's going to need the right situation, but I think he's a guy.
Do you think
He's definitely the
makes a
most
move?
talented. What's that?
Do you think Howie makes a move?
No, they need too much linebacker and safety help.
He might pick
Jeremiah
up
Trotter
Alexander.
Jr., you are an Eagle. All right, talk to me. Let's blow through these picks. Some of these games are going to suck because of the non-playoff implications.
Right. And some
We
of
have
them,
6 early games and then 7 late games, though.
and some of them, and when I mean some, I mean this one. Pittsburgh needs everything but the kitchen sink.
Pittsburgh needs a win and 17 ties to get into the playoffs.
and me to lose a parlay, maybe. Redact that. Love it,
So the line on this game tells me that that Lamar's not playing because Pittsburgh's favored in Baltimore, 3.5 with a 36.5 number. This is going to be a slog, and this is going to be a game I probably won't see any of anyway. So, who do you like here?
Slog. Give me Baltimore just to end the scenarios off the rip.
Yeah, just to put everything to bed. I'm actually thinking the opposite. I'm going to go Pittsburgh because that leaves the door open for them to get in.
But right, if you were Houston or Indy, I'm just looking at the game like, please, Baltimore, just end
Don't
it.
even play that game. Yeah, just don't even play that game if Pittsburgh loses.
Right. Yeah, I'm going on the record. Baltimore. So you going Pittsburgh?
I'll go the Fighting Tomlins. Let's see what happens.
The Fighting Tomlins. All right. Here we
Are
go.
they over? They're over 500, right? They're gonna have the parade this year.
Yeah, they got it.
Okay, cool. So
believe
Tomlin can't get fired again. Cool. Houston, Indy is the late game Saturday. That's Houston minus 1.5 right now. So it's basically a pick 'em. This is a fun one because the winner is, I think, into the playoffs. I just read the 50,000 scenarios, but I'm pretty sure the winner gets in. So
Yeah, winner gets the division. Actually, I think.
this is reminiscent of last year when the Titans played the Jags on that ESPN game on that Saturday night, and I put all the money I had on the Titans +6, and the Jags won anyway.
And then had a
But I
thriller
covered.
against the Chargers.
I covered. They lost by 5. Who do you like here? These are two Rob Grable guys.
Rob Grable.
You talking about Paul Heyman guys? These are my Rob Grable guys. C.J. Stroud and Gardner Minshew. Minshew.
How can you not love C.J. Stroud? Probably rookie of the year, if anything. Would probably be. Was in the MVP conversation before.
It's him and Puka, I think, for rookie of the year.
Puka kind of fell off, to be honest.
A little bit. Well, yeah.
Especially
Once Logan
when-
Paul came back, Puka's Puka's production kind of dropped. But
Sure,
he's
no,
got more scrimmage yards as a rookie than Jamar Chase. So
Well, Jamar Chase, he's had his frustrations early in the season when they were stinking it up and he wanted the ball. But how can you not love C.J. Stroud? And how can you not love Minshew and Steichen?
Yep.
Man,
Steichen.
To be honest,
What a great job done by him. What a great job by D'Amico, too. These are two good quarterbacks and two good coaches.
I called it early in the season. My bold prediction: the Texans will be.
I think
over.
you did.
But I knew more about Gannon than I ever did about Steichen when they were here.
Yeah, same.
Gannon
Steichen,
was like highlighted because we're notorious for the defense. You know, Jim Johnson, I believe, and then McDermott, and then you had who was it?
Then you had the offensive line coach. They went Castillo.
Oh God.
It was Castillo, Billy Davis. I don't want to talk about it.
Detroit guy, Schwartz, whatever.
Schwartz. I really like Jim Schwartz.
I like Schwartz.
I'm happy for him that he's having success in Chicago Cleveland.
But I never looked at the offense. I thought it was ran by Sirianni, but it was noticed that Sirianni did run it and then gave it a Steichen, and that's when the team went to the moon.
Well, Steichen was calling plays for the Chargers back when, he might not have been calling plays. He was responsible for a lot of Herbert's growth as a rookie. Jeez. And then he was calling plays here. He got the Eagles to the playoffs twice, and his loss, I feel like, was looked at. There was no attention on it because everybody was so fixated on Gannon being gone that I think we all just kind of glossed over this guy, and we were just happy. Oh, cool, Brian Johnson. He's like Jalen Hurts' dad, and he becomes the OC, and we're like, all right, that's a lateral move. Steichen taking Indy to the playoffs would be quite the story.
Honestly,
with a backup quarterback, mind you. Imagine if Anthony Richardson were playing. They might be at like a 3 seed if he were playing.
He was so dynamic.
I'm a huge fan of his. I told you this before the draft too. I thought he was the best quarterback in the draft. I was wrong, but I was right about Bryce Young at least. I said Bryce Young is not the number 1 pick. I would have taken Richardson 1. Now, obviously, Stroud probably should have gone 1, but that's a different story for a different day. Richardson is a phenomenal quarterback, and I'm excited to see him next year.
But that's also the team around you. I mean, the foundation. Frank Reich got fired. Imagine if CJ Stroud was in that position, his growth would not be the same.
Yeah, maybe his growth wouldn't be. I don't think Bryce Young is winning games with the Colts or the Texans, though.
True, right?
Bryce Young had a loaded Bama team, and he had to do very little. So, anyway, I know he won the Heisman and everything, but look at some of the other Bama quarterbacks. They don't have a great track record outside of Tua and Jalen.
Hate to say it, but he might have just peaked already in college.
Bryce, yeah, it's possible. He's I don't know. I hope, because he seems like a nice kid. I hope he pans out, but it's upsetting to watch his growth kind of deteriorate.
Right. All right. So back on to the Saturday night game.
Yeah.
Dude.
Man, this is a toss-up and a half, isn't it?
If both can get in, I'm all for it. But
same.
Give me C.J. Stroud. Give me the Texans in the playoffs. Give me the Texans winning this one out.
I really like them. I love their energy,
might
man.
Fuck around and get a contract somewhere else too.
I think we're due for a Gardner Minshew playoff game. Let's go Indy.
I like this.
This is going to be the week I think we differ on the most picks. I like Indy in this game, although I could see Houston walking this off with a field goal. Honestly, that'll be one of my bold predictions for the week. I think this game ends on a field goal. I don't know who wins it, but this game ends on a field goal.
I'll double down. Field goal in OT.
That'll be fun.
Have we seen?
All right, let's move. Yes,
have we seen a double OT sort of scenario yet? Where obviously the field goal, and then the next one is a sudden death. We've seen the possession loss sudden death one, but have we seen score, next score truly wins?
I don't remember seeing any field goal, touchdown, or field goals yet.
This is the one, baby.
Man, that'll be fun. It is a little stressful in overtime because it's only 10 minutes, so it's shorter. So you don't really have time for 3 possessions most of the time.
But you also don't have time to gamble. You have to just. Yeah. I mean, you can gamble obviously like Detroit's coach, but you're trying to get the points and try to, make it happen. Imagine that. Yeah. Go to overtime and it's done. It's a tie. Steelers, even though with a loss, get in.
Steelers are hanging out in the locker room all day. All right, Atlanta, New Orleans. New Orleans is -3 against Atlanta. New Orleans, they win and they can handle their business. Atlanta, I think, is done. I don't even remember at this point. Who do you got in this one? Another
Atlanta's
dome game.
Still in it. Atlanta's still in it.
Are they in it or are they like in it?
Let me see what you got here.
Best of luck deciphering all this shit.
It's Atlanta win.
They need 14
lose.
ties.
That's it.
Oh, that's all it is, and then they win the division. Okay.
They got to take care of business. That's it.
So if Tampa loses, which is happening concurrently with this, the winner of Atlanta New Orleans gets the division title.
Essentially.
And we have to sit through an Artie Smith playoff game.
Fuck.
Bijan getting 4 carries and Kyle Pitts just being used as a pylon.
I'm going to go New Orleans here.
Ritter's throwing. Well, is Heineke starting or is Ritter starting?
It's got to be.
I thought Ritter got hurt.
That's a good question.
Maybe Ritter got benched and Heineke got hurt. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I'm going New Orleans. We're due for another Derek Carr stinker in the playoffs.
I'm going with Falcons. Give me Artie Smith in there.
We're going for chaos. We're differing on all 3 of these so far. Let's kind of blow through these a little bit.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Cincinnati -6 at home against Cleveland. Jake Browning against DTR. I think this is I'm going to go Cincy in this game, respectfully.
I'm going.
So I don't think Cleveland can move up or down.
I'm going with the number 1 defense in the league, Cleveland, baby. They shutting that down.
Another thing I was right about for the season, I said Cleveland's defense will take them to the playoffs, and they're dangerous.
Sir, the cherry on top would be MVP or the Defensive Player of the Year being Myles Garrett.
He might win Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know. He should win MVP because no quarterback really deserves it. Jacksonville, Tennessee. Yeah, Jacksonville, Tennessee. This is at 1:00 Sunday. I believe C.J. Beathard is starting for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Because I think Lawrence is still banged up.
Yep. I believe that is true. Yeah.
I'm going to go Jacksonville in this one. I like C.J. Beathard.
Trying to make sure. No, they're back at practice.
He's not? Change? Oh, maybe. I'm still taking Jacksonville no matter what.
It says Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk back at practice. So, I mean, that's a duo right there.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah.
You still got Jags?
Yeah, I'm still taking the Jags. He got a shoulder issue.
Give me Titans.
Not full speed. Titans.
Give me Titans.
Plain spoiler.
Dude.
They returned the favor from last year.
Exactly. Jags played spoiler against Colts, which ultimately led to Wentz's firing. Yeah. This is where, they can go down too.
I don't even know who's playing quarterback for Tennessee anymore. Tampa, Carolina. Tampa wins and they're in. 5.5 here for Tampa.
Give me the Tampa. Easy.
Yeah, I'm going to go with them as well.
Our first.
And then 2 more with some 1:00 games. Jets at Patriots. Oh, my God. This might as well be Wisconsin, Iowa. 30.5 is the total in this game.
Caitlin Clark? Let me see. Give me Patriots because we all know this is Bill Belichick's last game.
Yeah, last home game at least.
Last period in New England. Give me that.
I'm going to agree with you. Minnesota, Detroit. I don't even remember any of the circumstances here. I think Detroit wins and they're the 2. Actually, no, because if the Cowboys finish with the same record as them, the Cowboys have the tiebreaker. I think Detroit wins no matter what. Fucking who cares?
Same lines.
They're going to play pissed after last. I think they're going to blow out Minnesota. Minnesota's starting Mullins again, I think.
Yeah, they are.
What talk about a revolving door of just like piles of boogers and shit. Whatever quarterbacks they're going with there. Josh Dobbs isn't even like he's an afterthought now. He put Jefferson in the hospital and they put Dobbs on ice for the rest of the season.
They showed him on TV for like 5 seconds during the New Year's Eve festivities that we were having. And by the time I went to point to say something, it was off screen. I would have looked like a bozo. I probably would have picked on your friend Mark when I wasn't. I wasn't.
That's right.
I didn't want to start problems.
Well, he was upset because they said they benched his brother. So
I know that was
I
funny.
think he's in on it. Yeah, he's in on it. I'm sure his parents are still upset and disappointed. That was one of the funniest pictures that they knew before we did. They were like, "No, this kid sucks. He should be a fucking astronaut." All right, we got 7 games in the late window. Chicago, Green Bay. Green Bay obviously needs to win, and then a bunch of other stuff needs to happen for them. Right. I think Green Bay still owns Chicago. I'm going to go Packers. Jordan Love looked great on Sunday.
I got Bears. I think
their defense has been good, man.
Justin Fields is playing for a spot somewhere. He loves to be in Chicago. The fans rallied behind him last week, which was a nice scene, right?
Yeah, I thought he played well.
And like you just said, Packers always own the Bears. What better way to own the Packers by knocking them out?
Yeah, 2 years in a row, a division rival puts them out of their misery. I remember last year Detroit did it. They played spoiler on that Sunday night game in Lambeau.
Right.
Dallas, Washington,
Ooh,
13.5. I'm going to go Dallas.
Give me Commanders.
Oh.
Give me Commanders. Okay. You got Sam Howell playing. He's starting. He's coming back.
He's also playing maybe for a job.
He's playing with a vengeance. And plus, Dallas on the road, no bueno.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Wow, Seattle, Arizona. Seattle's only minus 2.5.
Well, did you see the outbreak that happened in Philly? Of course you would be, baby. Arizona's
well, that's
because
you and I could rush for touchdowns against the Eagles defense.
My 89-year-old father can hit a touchdown on the Eagles right now.
Or at least call a play that would confuse their linebackers.
Run it, throw it deep. Better than a slant or a bubble.
Is that why he went for a physical today?
Exactly.
He's trying out for a team.
Hey, man, we're trying to get to WrestleMania somehow.
True.
All right. Seattle or Arizona, who you got?
Fuck cares. Give me Seattle.
Yeah, it's got to be Seahawks, right?
That's a game. They're going to show too much of that on Red Zone. Rams, 49ers.
Rams, 49ers. Give me Carson Wentz. He's playing for something, for pride.
Yep, I'm taking the Rams too. I'm going to double check the odds here because I think some of this is probably shifted. I put the odds on the sheet yesterday.
Sure.
I would imagine with all the news that's coming out about who's playing and who might not play, some of these things are going to shift.
All right, I'll pull it
as evident by Pittsburgh being a favorite in Baltimore. By the way, that's grown to 4. The Cleveland game has grown to 7. The Patriots are minus 1.5 now. Packers are minus 3 now. Seahawks are minus 3 now as well. And are the Rams favored yet? Rams are plus 4 now. That makes me even happier. We got Eagles Giants. Eagles minus 5.5 at MetLife. Of course, they lost earlier this season at MetLife. They might become the first team since the Jets and Giants to lose twice in the same field this year at MetLife.
Oh man, MetLife. I love it.
It's still 5.5. 41.5 is the total. The Eagles will have to play their starters this week, but that doesn't really inspire me at all.
Right.
This could be the get right game, but we've been saying that for about 3 months. I'm just gonna say it. Eagles are not winning this game.
I was just gonna say Giants. I'm taking the Giants.
I'm taking the Giants straight up. I don't see the Eagles winning this game. I'm sorry. I know that it's upsetting, and we're gonna be sitting on our couches hoping that the Eagles win this game.
I don't think we've ever picked the opposite of the Eagles at the same time.
I'm sure we did a couple years ago when they sucked.
Well,
like they played the Chiefs. They played the Chiefs here a couple years ago, and I think there's no shot either of us took the Eagles that game. By the way, for what it's worth, one of us is going to be right because we did the win-loss game before the season. I think you have them going 12-5. I have them going 11-6.
Yeah,
so one of us will be right. We were probably off on which games were because I'm sure neither of us had them losing to the Jets. But maybe we did because Rodgers would have been playing at the time we did the.
I'll tell you one thing: we didn't have them losing to Arizona in Philly. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. You know what? If you want to read off the next game, I'll see if I can find the graphic.
For real, dude. All right, next game. It is Denver at Las Vegas. Both teams really just playing for pride at this point. This is the first game where Russell Wilson, I believe, is not playing, right? After that whole debacle?
No, he sat last week when they beat the Chargers.
Oh, that's what it was. Jesus, I'm so all over the place.
What the fuck is this? Oh, okay. I hit the wrong.
What the fuck is this? We'll do it live. I wrote it. So yeah, Denver at Las Vegas. Give me the Raiders. Give me
Yeah,
whatchamacallit's name, Pierce fighting for a
Pierce.
job.
Yeah, the Fighting Pierces. I think if he wins, they have to keep him. Right? They can't Basasha him.
Give me a
I
little
bet you.
Berman in there. Give me a
Oh
little
yeah, that's our
Berman.
last chance for the season until at least the draft.
One
I
more
love
time
Berman,
because it sounded so nice.
and because we both took him.
But yeah, you're right. We don't want to have a Rick Basasha
Yeah,
debacle again.
you and I both loved him, and I thought he deserved a chance to be the head coach there,
Derek Carr
and
would still be
kind of
there.
screwed him.
That team would
Yeah,
be completely different. But they went with the quote unquote sexy pick of getting New England's offensive coordinator.
true.
Look how that turned out. You're paying the man.
All right,
Tragic.
so I'll run through the schedule in a second once we finish this, but I have the schedule picks
KC.
up.
Okay, KC at LA Chargers.
Casey's
KC.
not starting Mahomes, which is why Chargers are actually favored, but the Chargers can't score. That's a concern.
But you think that's more of a morale win to end the season on a high note?
Uh, no, I think they suck. I'm gonna go KC.
I'll go Chargers.
Who's there? I don't even. Giff Smith, I think is the guy's name, the interim
Giff
head coach.
Smith.
But they fucking suck. They couldn't even score on the Broncos last week. How are they gonna score on the Chiefs
I would fire Kellen Moore the moment this game ends. How did I
if they
pick
lose?
you up, pay you X amount of money from Dallas? The head coach leaves. You're in position. You say, nah, B, I want to keep my options open. Literally, verbatim.
Yeah, we're
I'm
cool.
going to keep my options. All right, bet. See ya. Deuces. Out of here. The offense didn't improve. Like, fuck. You went against Russell Wilson, less Denver Broncos. See ya. Adios. Perry,
One of these days I'll be faster on my feet. Buffalo, Miami, the primetime game. This is obviously the game of the week. Buffalo is as we speak. Where we at?
Perry
What?
Perry disagrees.
Who disagrees with what?
Giants. He believes Giants are not winning that game.
Well, we're all just trying to mush the other team so our team wins.
Sorry, Perry.
You caught me. Buffalo is minus 2.5 as it stands right now. 48.5 is the total.
Has to be the game of the week, right? Arguably.
It's the game of the year, honestly. I mean, look at this. This is the only game that is a do or die. There's a chance that Buffalo misses the playoffs if all these other things happen. Miami's still in, but
they can get the division with, with a win here.
Yeah, but this is the only game that is head-to-head. Winner gets the division. Loser either goes home or will be like the 5 seed.
All right.
Fun one. I mean, but Miami's coming off a couple weird weeks. I think they beat the Cowboys a few weeks ago. They were disrespected last week in Baltimore.
63.
Is that what it was? 63-19 or 53-19? It was a scoregami. So
it was something absurd. I couldn't believe my eyes.
It was 53-19.
Then I'm lying. I'm putting more points.
Let's
yeah, 56-19 scoregami.
Oh, 56-19. Okay.
Oof. That was
I'm going Buffalo, man. I think they're rolling right now. I'm in. I'm sold. Yeah, Miami's already in. They have a little bit less to play for, but I'm sure they would want that home game because, like I said before, they have that home field advantage where their sidelines in the shade and the opposing team is in the sun. So it's like 114 degrees on the other sideline. It's like 80 something on theirs. A home game would benefit them, and I think would benefit a young head coach and a young quarterback as well. Because they missed the playoffs last year, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yes, this would be Tua's first playoff game.
And McDaniels.
Yeah.
Do you think the NFL knows that home field advantage, and if they were to get home field at some point, they would have them as a afternoon night game for Miami's sake?
Ooh,
the spectacle.
That's a great question. I think it really depends on what they think will garner the most attention ratings wise. They're going to go with the heavyweights. Dallas, no matter what, is going to get probably the primetime game either Saturday or Sunday. And then they'll probably have if there's a divisional matchup, they'll probably make that like the 4:30 game on the Sunday or whatever.
I hate Dallas. Hate.
Or Buck and Aikman, or it'll be Buck and Aikman in Dallas.
Nobody goes to Dallas, bro. I'm off them, honestly. All right.
We have a bit of a work emergency. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. What is this, Barry? No, the Eagles will crush the Giants. Our O-line is bad. That is true, Perry. That is true. But But that defense, I mean, Perry, all of us can score on that Eagles defense at this point. And Tyrod Taylor, like you said, Giants are choosing him because they want to win the game. They haven't been the Eagles in forever, it feels like. And you almost had us in Philly, to be honest. And I'm not going to sit here and say that if Tyrod Taylor played all 4 quarters that you guys would beat us handedly. We don't know. But the way that second half went, yeah, I wouldn't be mad at it. You're playing at home. Eagles really are just playing for pride just to get right. Because everyone's in the playoffs, honestly. Seeding really doesn't matter this much because we're basically essentially a wild card. That's only if Dallas keeps winning. It goes on at the same time, but and Rob's back. But Perry, I was just responding to Perry. Perry was saying, no, the Eagles will crush the Giants because the Giants' offensive line is bad. But I'm also saying the defense for us.
The Eagles' team is bad, so it doesn't really matter.
And if Tyrod Taylor played all 4 quarters last time, they might have had a runaway
I don't think you're wrong.
win. But we don't know.
I guess you can look at it. If you want to put a positive spin on it as an Eagles fan, at least the Giants' points all kind of came off Eagles' mistakes. I mean, if Goddard doesn't fall down, there's not a pick 6. If Boston Scott and Olamide Zaccheaus don't collide, but at the same time, if my aunt had a penis, she'd be my uncle. So it doesn't. You can't discount the mistakes because this team is. It's not like they made 2 out of character mistakes. They've been making mistakes all year. So I'm not making any more excuses for the Eagles. At this point, I'm kind of excited for the UFL to start. You want to do the TTP?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's roll. Can I who started last week? Was it you?
Excuse me. Sure. You can start.
All right, so I'm gonna stamp it right now. My dog are the Rams.
Fuck.
Oh, that's great.
I just wrote this in. All right, cool. Fuck.
I mean, you can have them. It's fine. I can change it.
No. Damn, Buffalo.
They've been my dog since Carson was named the starter yesterday or 2 days ago.
Right. Give me the Bears over Green Bay.
Okay,
that's
fair.
One.
That's a respectable one.
My lock are the Chargers defeating the Chiefs.
Really?
I have faith.
Right. My lock will be.
I need some positivity out of the Chargers because how many times are we going to say the Chargers are for real this year? They're becoming the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, buddy, the Chargers are the Epstein list. We keep talking about how it's going to happen, and it hasn't happened yet. Every day, the Epstein list coming out any day now. The Chargers will be good any year now. My lock is that what you just did lock, right?
Yeah, mine was a cleaner version saying Dallas will go to the Super Bowl every year. They don't. You went the Epstein route.
Hey, listen.
Same point.
We're on time. We're very much kept up with what's it called, pop culture here. My lock are the Lions. I think they crushed Minnesota.
Ooh,
I think they play that game angry. They're gonna rally around Dan Campbell because he was fucking angry after that game.
I wouldn't be surprised if the first play is that trick play.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Get it out of the way.
I hope they go for 2 every single time they score a touchdown and they run that play.
And make it a point. We're checking in.
The entire offensive line is reporting eligible here, fellas.
I need whoever Fox or whoever has the player has Mike is probably the offensive line. I'm checking in. I'm checking in.
I don't know if you've watched the Amazon Prime stuff this year, but they will identify blitzers on one of the broadcasts. They'll have like a little yellow circle underneath the blitzer.
Yeah.
If they just want to identify the left tackle in every play with a little yellow circle on the screen, that would be great. All right, it's me now, right? Points.
Oh, that's where I was. All right, cool. God.
Let's go with. Christ, I don't even know if I like anything here. Ew, I don't know if I like any of these points. God. Let's go with. Because I think it's basically a playoff game and both teams have a really good defense. I'm gonna go Houston, Indy. Oh no, shit, that's the total. Points. Tampa -5.5.
All right. -5.5.
Yeah, just tip my hand on the damn total though.
No, you're good. That wasn't even mine anyway. So what was it?
Okay.
Houston and right?
Tampa -5.5. Hey, we'll get to that in a second. If you can take it if you want.
No, I don't want it. I was gonna write it down for you. I have WFT Washington +13.5.
Yeah, I think it might even be 14 now. I'll take a look. Yeah, it's 13.5 still. I was gonna take that too, but I'm terrified of that game.
All right,
And
so
then I'm
you
gonna
have.
go. What's your total?
I'm still looking. So you have the over or under for the
I'm going
Houston game.
under in that game. I'm gonna check the live numbers, see what it is.
All right.
47.5 still.
All right. I will
Yeah, I'm going
go.
under because it's basically a playoff game, and they both have great defenses and two quarterbacks that you can probably confuse. So I think I think that game goes under. Although it's a standalone primetime game, they need those games to be exciting.
What are the chances New England Jets go over 30 and a half?
I was gonna take that under actually because I love chaos.
Oh, dude, no brainer right here. We're going over 48 and a half. Sunday night football. Gimme,
Yeah, I thought
gimme,
about that
gimme.
too.
Oh,
Yeah, that's gonna be a
that's
fun one, especially because it's in Miami. If that were in Buffalo, the under would be in play.
yeah. Let's see. Oh,
And
Miami.
then we're gonna do 2024 championship predictions, right?
Yes. To
All
end
right, so
the
we're
to end the
gonna
pod, to end the stream here.
we have to stick with our initial predictions here. So these are gonna be not really a top five, but kind of a top five. The four major sports leagues, and then because we'll be there, the WrestleMania main events. We'll save that for the end in case Perry doesn't want to listen to that, or in case anybody doesn't. So
Honestly.
we're gonna stick with our original NFL and NBA picks.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
do you remember? Well, unless you don't want to, but I
No, I
stuck
have it.
with mine.
I stuck with mine
All
too.
right, what was your Super Bowl pick?
My Super Bowl pick were Joe Burrow and the Bengals versus Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, and
Oh
Eagles
baby.
ultimately winning.
All right, well, Mariota and the Eagles against Browning and the Bengals. I still have
Well,
faith that the Chiefs.
at least one of the
Yeah,
teams is in the playoffs.
and the Bengals. Yeah,
Bengals are
Bengals are
out.
toast, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
out. They
not
lost
damn.
last week.
Well, they can beat the Browns. We'll just sub the Browns in. Joe Flacco against Jalen Hurts. Joe Flacco wins and goes to Wildwood.
Joe
Um,
Flacco, as you mentioned on the Tuesday 10, Joe Flacco versus Baltimore
that would
in
be
the
fun.
playoff.
Yes, I would make the trip for that game.
Nice. All right.
NFL. I had my one of my bolds before the season was that the Lions would beat the Chiefs opening night, and then the Chiefs would return the favor in the Super Bowl. So the first and last game of the year were going to be the same matchup with different outcomes. So I'm going to stick with that: Chiefs over Lions.
Beautiful. Who you got winning it?
Chiefs over the Lions because the
Oh,
Lions beat
Chiefs
them on
over
opening
Giants.
night.
Oh, yes. My bad.
But I mean, at this
Like
point, I don't know if anybody's going to catch a pass for the Chiefs.
it. I mean, hey, if Taylor Swift stops dating him, he might play with a vengeance. He might hit
Yeah.
4 touchdowns. All right. NHL?
NHL. I actually want to hear yours first.
All right. Come on, man. You know I'm a team of the West and the East Coast. I have my Flyers and my Seattle Kraken. Game 6. Shine it up, baby. Philly finally gets a title. Let's go.
Could you imagine they win the year they're not even supposed to be good?
Exactly. Hey,
Well, if it's any,
the Kings
um,
were, what was it? The Golden Knights were, in the inception, won it.
yeah,
Kraken
the
were
first
close
year they
last
went
year,
to the
sort of.
Cup.
The Kings
Kraken had
as
a good run
well.
last year.
LA Kings, right? Or somebody? The
They
year
they
prior?
won it in 12 and 14.
Hey, man. I'm seeing the gifts from like Brody, from the guy that I showed you on the TikToks that
Your
does
Honor.
the Fanatics or whatever.
Yeah,
Shine that bitch up. Hunter Brody,
yeah
I think.
the mayor of Hoagie Mouth Town.
Hoagie mouth.
I seek the Flyers. I'm going Golden Knights over the Rangers.
You
I think
are
the Rangers finally get there this year. If I don't know, they have one of the best goalies in the league. They're going to make a deadline addition like they did last year with Patrick Kane. They're going to find, and then Tarasenko, I think too. They're going to find guys to bring in and be a contending team. They are up against the cap, and I don't know how many young players they have left to move, but
right.
this is the time to strike while the iron's hot. And the Golden Knights, I think, they're going to end up being a dynasty. I think the NHL needs a dynasty because they haven't had one since the Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks scandal kind of leaves a black eye on that franchise, no pun intended.
Dude,
What's up?
Was the classic this year Kraken versus Golden Knights?
Yes, it was.
Dude,
Kraken 3-0 over the Knights.
I gotta see.
That was a fun game. I watched that too. It was a great game. No, not great. It was a good game.
I seen the AI. What's it called? Fuck, I'm drawing a blank. Like the AI fantasy like stadium matchups between these two teams, like in football
Okay.
stadiums for having the hockey.
Yeah.
Dude, in Seattle, in where the Seahawks play,
That would have been cool too. Yeah,
Insane.
because I think because it rains so much there, they had to do it in the ballpark because it has a
Yeah.
retractable roof. But that was a good. It was still a nice scene. I talked about it the other day. I love the outdoor games in hockey. It's like the one cool thing left that they have. That, and I like the tradition of not touching the trophies. And everybody gets a day with the Stanley Cup is also really cool. Like they have a couple cool and the playoff beards. Other sports don't have that kind of thing.
No, they don't.
I'm excited though. That's going to be a fun. The playoffs are going to be fun this year, especially if the Flyers are in.
Oh
Give
yeah.
me like a Flyers Panthers or a Flyers Rangers or Flyers Devils series.
Oh yeah. I did catch that by the way on the Tuesday 10. Flyers Devils, February.
We're
You're, you're,
17th.
you're trying to drag me.
Pretty significant day.
You're trying to drag
Yeah, I
me to
mean,
watch a hockey game in dead of winter in New Jersey. I'm all in.
there's about four things. That's four negatives. They somehow make a positive.
Right. I wouldn't name it. I don't know a single soul on that team. Corey Hart, I guess. That's all I got.
Corey Hart, yeah, Corey, former Brewer. All right.
Jeez.
NBA.
At the start of our season, I had Celtics versus Lakers. Boston takes
Ooh,
it in 6.
okay.
Yeesh.
I forget what my number of games was, but I had the Clippers winning over the Bucks, so I'm gonna have to stick with that.
Which is crazy because this was before the James Harden trade.
And I said that Harden's gonna get a ring because of this, so we foreshadowed. Um, so this is the most fun one. MLB.
Right.
Who do you like?
I mean, it's gotta be Otani and the Dodgers, right? With Yamamoto now. If it's gotta be making it to the World Series or bust. You
Yeah,
can't just make it to the NLCS and lose.
yeah.
You
You
have
can't,
to
you
get
can't
there.
get bounced in the division series again by a rival too. I
God.
mean, if the law of whatever cyclication or some bullshit happens, they lost in 4 games to San Diego 2 years ago. They got swept by Arizona last year. That means all that's left for them is either
Not making it.
Colorado bounces them, yeah, either Colorado bounces them, or who's the other team in that division? Who am I forgetting? I always forget the fifth team in the NL West. Um,
Rockies?
why am I an asshole? Oh, the Giants. The Giants, who the Dodgers beat in 21. So the Giants or the Rockies are going to beat the Dodgers in the NLDS this year. Is my law of
That wouldn't be
history
bad.
repeating itself. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be. Eesh.
And then we would have to hear about the bye for another 6 months. Well, the 148 win Dodgers, but that 1 week bye was just too much for them.
And who do they sign this time?
Yeah, well, they're going to get Max Fried next offseason because he's from LA.
Oh Jesus!
And then they're going to get what's his name? The kid that Murakami.
Just bring all
And
the
then
Japanese
Sasaki.
players.
They're trying to build a Japanese dynasty, I think, is what actually is happening over there. And they're
Well,
playing the long game with it.
funny enough, that is what we didn't mention this
Yeah.
on our list, but MLS, right? Inter Miami is a new team in Miami. Obviously, they are slowly rebuilding the powerhouse Spain team, Barcelona, with Lionel Messi at the helm.
Yeah.
Dude, they brought all the former Barcelona players that played under Lionel Messi when they were just a juggernaut out in Spain. Obviously, they're past their prime, but they're slowly bringing them over during the offseason with signings. I see the same thing in LA with the Dodgers. They're bringing Japanese stars left and right.
Yeah, but
Obviously,
they're going to bring guys in during their prime.
sure, they got Betts and they got Freeman. I mean, Kershaw was there. He's still not signed, which is
He's still not signed anywhere, which is fascinating.
that's probably his choice, honestly.
Yeah, he might just be waiting to see what happens with Texas. I think he ends up a Ranger.
Yeah. So yeah,
All right,
Dodgers
but,
versus Texans. I say they went right
Ooh.
through everyone in the
The
in
one
the
time
playoffs.
Kershaw actually shows up in the playoffs, it'll be against his former team.
Oh, gimme, and he bounces. I have Texans in 5.
Oh,
Texans in
dude.
5.
Texas Rangers in 5. I have a fun one, although this kind of goes against my actual thoughts. This is the only team I could actually pick in the AL that I could root for. I got the Orioles beating the Dodgers in the World Series next year. Although I do believe in my heart of hearts the Orioles are due for massive regression after the big step forward they took this year. They're losing pitching. I think they're going to be due for regression, but for the sake of this exercise, I'm going Orioles over Dodgers in 7.
Kimbrel gets a ring before we do. This
Oh,
is
Christ, never mind.
bullshit.
Orioles losing 3 in the division series, 3 blown leads in the
in
ninth.
3.
I just
Oh,
can't get
shit.
myself. So I know the Yankees they're short pitching. Boston's not really any good. Toronto never shows up in the playoffs. The Twins, I don't think they have enough hitting. Kansas City, no. Detroit
I
stinks.
mean, they made the playoffs.
I want to pick Cleveland badly, but they don't have enough pitching right now. They have young pitching, but I don't know how well they're going to hold up in the playoffs. I think Cleveland's going to be a dark horse team next year, and I'm excited to talk about them. But there's no other. In Houston, I think the book is kind of closing on them. I think losing to Texas, their little brother last year, kind of killed them. But I'm going to go Orioles over Dodgers for the sake of this exercise.
All right,
Team that should have signed or should have traded for Otani last year beats the team that signed him.
That's fair play. Fair play. All right. We're done with the sports section. Now we do WrestleMania
Yes.
before Perry bounces out.
Yeah. So
I
just
think
two
we're
main
gonna have
events
the same
here.
Things, right?
I think so too. But I guess we'll have different maybe winners.
Night one, Rollins versus Punk.
Yeah.
I'd say Rollins keeps it. Shocks the world.
Nah, Punk beats him.
Yeah, I know. I try to be different there.
Yeah.
I try to sell it, but with a no soul. And then WrestleMania 2, I have Reigns versus Cody.
Yeah, that's gonna suck though.
Reigns keeps it though.
I agree with you. I don't think he should lose to Cody. I've been talking about this for a while with you up there.
Yeah.
I don't think he should. I swear to God, if it's Rock and Reigns, I'm not going.
To night 2, right?
I'm not buying the ticket to watch fucking The Rock at 80 years old whose cardio is worse than mine.
But you
come
gotta
in
admit,
and
night 1 looks pretty sexy off the rip.
It does, yeah. I'm hoping we get a good tag title match that night too.
I think it's a fatal 4-way one.
Oh, is that what it's gonna be? Is that the idea? Who are the current champs?
The Judgment Day.
Oh right, that's right.
Yeah.
And Priest has the briefcase still too.
Yeah.
Now the question is, will we see a surprise debut?
1000%. As always.
Will MJF come back or I guess sign?
Ooh, I'm telling you,
it'd be hard to keep under wraps because he's from Long Island, which is not far from Philly, at least somewhat. But I think he's under contract with the other company.
How about you can't show him after the main event, but I was gonna say if Cody were to win it, that's when you throw out MJF as the next guy.
Or he's the one that sabotages him, since Roman can't win clean on a pay-per-view anyway. So
right. Oh boy.
But yeah, if it's Rock, I would rather see Rock and Lesnar. Just put the two has-beens in a 4-minute squash match.
Well, Lesnar's gonna. They're already looking at ideas are floating around that he's gonna fight for the Intercontinental title.
I think the only way. So I heard about that too. I think the only way those two go at it is if the title's not on the line, because I can't see Lesnar even being considered to be a champion.
You were mad seeing a no timer versus a part timer at WrestleMania Night 2 main event.
The thing is, I like Lesnar a lot.
Lesnar walks in, haven't seen him for God knows how long, and beats Gunther, who was basically unbeaten with that belt.
You know what's weird is back in the day in kayfabe, if you weren't capable of defending your championship within a 30-day period, you had to relinquish it. Sure. And Roman has defended it. He's been in like 5 matches this year, and one of them was a tag match, or last year, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I think Austin had to give up his title at one point. I think that's why Van Dam had to give up his title. Like, there's been issues in the past where in kayfabe, if you weren't physically fit to defend your championship, you had to relinquish it. And I don't want to see Brock Lesnar and Roman. All the pay-per-views are going to be non-title matches in the main event because Roman is sitting on a boat somewhere, and Lesnar's chopping up steak with some dude on TikTok.
Hey man, they look good on TikTok. The tomahawks.
Yeah. Did you see the other guy's face in the video? There was 2 guys and him. One of the 2 guys bit into the steak and was like, "This is fucking terrible."
Oh my god, no.
Lesnar got a big fat piece of fat too.
Oh, I would do that near Lesnar, not at all. Well, I think that's it, Rob. I think we close.
Do we get tickets? Are Hall of Fame tickets included if you buy tickets to the event, or no? Is that a different show?
SmackDown, yeah, I believe so.
Because there's like the Hall of Fame is like the night before, right?
Yeah, it's the same night as SmackDown.
Oh, so that's what, Friday?
Yeah, I think it's right
okay. I'll be in Chicago anyway. We'll be at Wrigley Friday.
I would imagine the Hall of Fame is before SmackDown because you wouldn't have these superstars in suits after 2 hours of wrestling.
It used to be on Saturday before WrestleMania, and then when they made WrestleMania a 2-day thing, they got rid of the Hall of Fame the night before. Yeah, well, it's gonna be what Bray Wyatt's gonna be in it, Batista, and supposedly Jim Cornette might be in it this year.
God, is it?
If Corny's in it, I'd love to hear his speech. He'll probably decline the option to show.
Oh, I kind
of. But apparently Triple H is in charge of all of the Hall of Fame this year, so it's gonna be guys that he likes that Vince didn't. So like maybe Jeff Jarrett gets in or something.
Oh God. let me see if I can pull this up real quick.
But Bray Wyatt's supposedly one of the names that's been thrown around. Obviously,
the same night.
He'll probably get in.
It's the same night as SmackDown. It's one ticket. So.
Oh, that's cool. So it must be before or after.
Yeah,
That's a long program, though.
It's just an hour, so it's 3 hours. It's basically like sitting through a Raw. SmackDown's 2 hours.
Okay. And then you're going to the NXT event Saturday, right? Yeah. I will be flying in probably while that's happening.
I got to find someone to go with. I bought 2 tickets.
I'm sure it won't be hard.
Oh, no one's been inducted yet.
Well, yeah, no one's been named. I think it'll be Bray's going to be the main guy.
Batista has been hinted heavily.
And then there's a couple other people
and
that.
Bray Wyatt, yes, he was also.
Bray, he'll be like the legacy choice or whatever.
People are thinking Umaga, Heyman,
Oh.
Bray Wyatt, Vince
Heyman
McMahon,
would be cool.
And somebody else.
You can't induct the guy a year after he had the sexual assault thing.
Oh, Finlay. That's what it was, the other guy.
So, Finlay would be cool, but his son works for New Japan, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler or Nick Nemeth just debuted in New Japan, and you know that video of the guy attacking the judge?
Dude, it came up.
He recreated that attack in the other guy. That he's I think Finlay's kid. Yeah, Finlay's kid.
That's funny.
A good fit for him. I liked him.
And I love to fight.
It's a shame Ziggler didn't work out. All right, folks, that's PA Turnpod episode 137. I believe we've rambled on here toward the end. We always like the miscellaneous stuff. Next week will be, I guess, our playoff preview. Our Eagles losing to the Giants review. Can't wait to talk about that on the Tuesday 10 if there's enough things to talk about.
Can't wait to maybe we'll get some. It was wrong.
Maybe get some baseball news. Hopefully, we get, for the love of God, give us some sort of baseball news. That at this point last year, I think 24 of the top 50 free agents had signed by Christmas last year.
Yeah.
Only 9 of the top 50 have signed this year, according to MLB Trade Rumors, who they deem to be the top 50. So,
do you think
at this point,
are in play for Kershaw?
I don't think they'd be in play for Kershaw. I think if they sign anybody, pitching wise, it'll be Montgomery. I think he would be good here. I think, or he'd be the classic Philly guy that comes in and stinks.
A lefty would be nice.
It would be nice to just put him right there, right behind Wheeler and Nola, or maybe even split those guys up.
Like that.
Yeah, Montgomery would be my choice. I don't love the idea of Snell, but I think Sanchez would be an upgrade from Stubbs at backup catcher.
Right. But sorry to interrupt you as you were going for next week.
No, that's all I got. I don't remember at this point.
Up for right now. Tuesday 10.
We did get the NBA I guess like half season, quarter season All-Star vote thing. I think LeBron and Giannis are 1 and 2 in votes, or LeBron and Tatum or something like that. It's always LeBron. Who cares? Right. And the Pro Bowl stuff we can talk about next week as well.
Oh yeah, the snubs.
Yeah,
and
I don't really care about the Pro Bowl
Eagles.
though.
That's what I want to talk about. The reactions of the Eagles. We'll talk about.
I don't even care about the Pro Bowl this week, but we'll talk about it next week. So it'll give us something fun to talk about.
Right. Well, everybody, this has been episode 137 of the PA Turnpod Kickoff to the 2024 campaign.
Yes.
And we're going to be elevating the product as you see. New logo, probably new intro. Tuesday 10 getting a little makeover, a little logo.
Yes.
In the work.
Thanks to you.
And we'll try to build this network. Until then, adios, everyone. Hit the see ya.
That's right. I got
Peace. That was a gun run on YouTube. We're demonetized. It's over.
See ya!
There we go.